Hello, YTPC. Welcome back. Thanks for joining me again today. I have another wonderful box from Smoking Bay. As for many of us, I think it was a successful bear hunting week, as they've been calling it. And this was the very first small batch that I've participated in over the last year through Smoking Bay, where it actually crashed his website. So as annoying as that is, congratulations to them for getting that amount of traffic to their website. Business is good. Happy to see it. Pavel does a great job. So, again, trying to get to that $100 free shipping. Actually, really embarrassed to admit that I had already preceded my cart, and then the website crash was down for about 10 minutes. So in my rush, I missed the free shipping mark by less than $2. And that's okay. I'm happy to get these things, and I'm happy to support Smoking Bay. He's been very generous to me. No complaints. Just one of those things where you're in such a rush because you know there's a limited amount that, if I had added one more thing of pipe cleaners, I would have gotten it, but that would have taken more time and could have missed my place in line and yada, yada, yada. Anyway, I bought another Missouri Meerschaum. Cannot remember the name of this shape right off the top of my head, but I will add it here. I wanted to try one of their different stems and see what this experience was, rather than the standard stem that comes with the Legend and apparently the Country Gentleman. This is still their 6mm filter. But I wanted to have that experience and see what that was about. Again, I am not a straight pipe kind of guy for the most part. I've learned to appreciate them, but bent is still definitely my preference. I do plan on getting some forever stems for some of these nicer cobs that I'm investing in now. Again, to have that experience. And they just look great. So that's exciting. And again, in a hurry, I bought 2 more John Aylesbury blends. Well, actually, it's the same blend, just 2 tins, because again, I was in a hurry. I just threw one in, and this one sounded really, really good. I'll put a description of it up over here because it is not on the tin, but this sounded like a very nice blend that'll be right up my alley. I have not researched much about John Aylesbury blends. If any of you have much experience with them, please let me know your thoughts in the comments. Am I heading down a good path with these? The descriptions sound amazing. So looking forward to those. And there we go. 2 tins. That was the limit through Smoking Bay. I've heard that some sites had a limit of 4. I don't know if Smoking Pipes still keeps their limit really high. I think they have a limit of 20 or something on standard drops. I don't know if they modified it at all for this particular drop. But they actually released 25,000 tins of this, which is nice to see that they can get to that size with this, and they feel comfortable with that. But we're going to open a tin of this today and see what we think. I've only had a couple of the previous versions, Black Locust being the most recent one that I've had. I have a tin of the Navy cask, but I have not tried it yet. We're going to go with the trusty tasting pipe from Jess Piping. nice Rossi 8626. Wonderful tasting pipe. I really enjoy this thing. Speaking of Jess piping, I will be doing a VR for his 1,000 subscriber giveaway in this video as well. We'll get to that in a minute, though. Let's go ahead and pack a bowl. We'll light her up, get some first impressions, and then we'll talk some more. Okay, here we go. So, Sun Bear Bourbon Cask. Puck 1, Puck 2, Puck 3, and there you go. That's what it looks like right out of the gate. These are pretty thick. Hold it over here. Pretty thick slices. Very nice, but they are actually slices, and they're holding together pretty well. That honey has created a good binder for these flakes here. Let's rub this out a little bit. You can tell there's a decent amount of moisture here, especially once you rub it out here. I can feel it in my palm, how moist this is. I'm going to give this a few moments. Enjoy my coffee here. This is just a medium roast black coffee, but I'm going to pause and come back once this has had a moment to dry out. All right, welcome back. It's been about 10 minutes. I'm getting a little impatient here. I'm excited. I'll admit that. Let's go ahead and load this bowl. That one flake is going to be perfect for this size of a chamber. Maybe have a little left over. Yeah, I don't want to pack this too tightly. All right, let's go ahead and light her up. All right, man, this coffee is still steaming hot in this insulated mug. Thank you, Matt. These things are wonderful. Just my standard medium roast black coffee this morning. Perfect for a first impression smoke. I thought about putting a little Irish cream in there, but I didn't want it to inhibit the experience. So here we go. That honey sweetness right off the false light. It is still fairly damp. I could have walked away from this from 30 minutes and probably still need a little drying time, but fresh tin, pressed with honey, that's to be expected, I guess. First taste though, nice and sweet. I'm really curious about what the base blend is, because this is super nice. I would really enjoy to compare the base blend to each of these different, just to really understand what each of these different honeys is bringing to it, rather than just having the experience in itself in a vacuum. Super smooth on the retrohale. Being a dominantly Virginia blend, this is not going to be high in Nick in any degree. The honey was aged in bourbon cask, ex-bourbon cask, and just like a bourbon, what I would expect that to impart to the honey would be the more vanilla-y notes, and I am really getting a very nice vanilla note to this. Not that it's in your face by any means. It's definitely, sweetness and then the undertone is just that nice, more vanilla leaning tone to it. Not an artificial vanilla. Again, kind of like, you know, you sip a bourbon and you look for those undertones in the flavor. That's what I'm getting here, that vanilla tone. Super pleasant, not fake to any degree. Very natural, very smooth. That is going to be a great smoke. I've already seen a couple of people put out reviews. I have purposefully not listened to them, but now that I'm having this experience, I'm going to be super curious to start hearing what other people are saying about this. So, with that being said, it is my 2-year anniversary. And the funny thing is that the timing of this, Jess Piping just announced his 1,000 subscriber giveaway. And my very first video was a VR for his 500 subscriber giveaway. So that was exactly 2 years ago at the beginning of August. So we're about a week past that point, but I'll still say it's my 2-year anniversary and his 2-year anniversary of his 500 subscriber giveaway. So I want to do a VR for Jess's 1,000 subscriber giveaway in commemoration of both of those events and to participate in his giveaway. Jess is giving away the choice of, I think it's 3 pipes, but he has like 7 to choose from. Go watch his video if you haven't. Don't quote me on that. I'm probably off a little bit. But Jess has asked us to share about a car memory. He was pretty open-ended about it. So I'm going to share about my very first vehicle, which was a family hand-me-down. It was a Datsun B210 hatchback. And Datsun was a brand that was made by Nissan. And when it came to me in the mid to late 90s, it had already been through many, many, many hands. My uncle drove it, my mother drove it when they were young, and then it became my grandfather's work vehicle. It was always full of tools. The hatchback was great for that purpose. And then once my oldest brother became of driving age, he inherited it. It was his first car. And then my second brother inherited it when he became of age, and my older brother bought a truck. And then I inherited it when I became of age. Now, when I had inherited it, my brother had been away at school, and had been sitting in the driveway, and it probably should have been driven more regularly to keep the fluids moving and everything. And I guess a funny story about the time that it was sitting, I had touched it a few times. I was learning to drive in an automatic vehicle. This was a stick. So I had learned a little bit about driving a stick, but I was not proficient by any means. So I had just gotten a new hacky sack, and I had, cut it open, taken some of the beads out, sewn it back up, and I wanted to break it in. And a great way to do that is by running a vehicle over it multiple times. And I had a car sitting in my driveway, my parents' driveway. And so I'm like, hey, I've used this stick manual vehicle multiple times. So here I am, have the keys, turn it on, have the hacky sack under the wheel, and not understanding how clutches work, I accidentally popped the clutch and I went forward through our garage door. And and it was, of course, up to me to fix the garage door. So I learned how to do that at that point. I'll put some pictures over here of what a Datsun B210 looks like. Sporty little vehicle. But by the time it had come to my hands, and I'm using yellow pictures here because that was the color of the vehicle I had. But by the time it had gotten to me, the body had been rusting. Old car at that point. And we weren't doing any auto body detailing on this vehicle. We were just using rust knot and spraying it. So imagine the original yellow, but then you have these silver blotches all over the car. So it was yellow with silver dots all over the place, trying to maintain some sort of exterior as long as possible. So I turn of age, I get a job, and I start driving this vehicle around. And then one day it started spewing purple smoke out the tailpipe, and the acceleration dropped to maybe a quarter of what you would expect it to be. Come to find out, it had blown a head gasket. And at that point, fixing that was way more expensive than what the vehicle was worth. So I was the last in the line of my family to drive this vehicle. It was a lot of fun though, and driving that car around gave me a love for manual transmissions. The second car I ever bought was a manual transmission, and this was 2 weeks before my wife and I were getting married. We knew that we would be moving from Florida out to Salt Lake City, Utah for my job. And I was insistent on getting a manual. Like, babe, don't worry about it. We'll teach you how to drive it. She never learned to drive it. It was not her thing. And here we were, 2 vehicles, and she could only drive one of them, which we managed, but it was an annoyance for the 11 years that we had that car. So at this point, at the point where we were buying a vehicle to replace that vehicle, manual vehicles are pretty hard to come by these days. They're pretty much special order only. And I wasn't going to fight it. We needed the convenience, and I knew my daughter would need a vehicle eventually. So my days of manual transmissions are over. So, Jess, congratulations on reaching 1,000 subscribers. Happy to celebrate this with you. Looking forward to the next 500 and 1,000 subscriber milestones as well. Thank you for all you share with the community. You've inspired so many of us, and particularly me. I'll always have a soft spot in my heart for you as the guy who encouraged me to finally step in front of the camera and begin this channel. So cheers to you, my friend. I'm going to go smoke this down. I'll be back in a little bit to share some additional thoughts. So I'm down to about the last third, and the sweetness is mostly gone at this point. It's become a Virginia Oriental smoke at this point, which is very typical for all of the small drops this year. Most of the small drops this year. And while I was in between, I did read the tins to see what they comprised of, and my previous impression that it was the same base blend from year to year to year is incorrect. The Black Locust was a base of Bright Virginia's Bosma and Izmir. So definitely, again, a Virginia Oriental base, but the bourbon cask is bright Virginia, red Virginia, and Izmir. So very solid base. I'm very pleased with the smoke at this point. It is not an overwhelming Oriental presence, but it gives it a very nice woody tone, which again goes great with the bourbon cask concept. Just the sweet vanilla tone at the top of the bowl is dissipated now. Very nice, woody, Virginia sweet tone is what's left here. Very pleasant smoke. I look forward to hearing more of you share your thoughts on this blend. Again, another great Sun Bear drop from C&D. I look forward to continuing to enjoy these from year to year. I don't know that I'm going to continue purchasing as many small batches in the future. That was kind of one of my goals this year, was to go ahead and just buy all of the small batches just to have that experience. But I think going forward, I'm going to be much more selective. I am very interested to see what the small batches will be like towards the end of the year. I am really hoping that they do another drop of Fires on the Levee and a Carolina Red Flake drop would be wonderful as well. With or without Perique, either way, I would be happy. If any of you have any guesses, thoughts about what the remaining 2026 small batch releases might be, drop them in the comments. I'm very curious to hear what the community's thoughts are on it. I've been super busy at work. I'm trying to watch. My commenting has been terrible, but I want to try to do at least one video a week, stay in the loop, stay engaged. So with those thoughts, I'll leave it here. Thank you for joining me again today. Remember, life with a pipe is better than without. Bye for now.